Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we are looking at the G.I. Joe Classified Series Cobra Night Creeper, a troop builder, and one that was definitely on my list of figures that I wanted when they announced the classified line. I absolutely loved this figure as a kid. I loved the weird and kind of wacky accessories that it came with. I loved the color scheme and just the overall design. And just sort of in the box, I will wager to say that I don't think I'm going to be disappointed. I think this is going to more or less live up to the expectations that I have for the Night Creeper. I think Classified has done a good job with him, but we shall see. Before that, let's take a look at the packaging. So we got the nice big window cut out there on the front of the box. This is one of the newer ones. This wave, obviously, this whole wave has been these newer, smaller boxes, which aren't as nice as some of the previous versions, but that's okay. I will get over it, as I've said in some previous videos. It's actually kind of nice because it's inspiring me not to keep these boxes anymore. So it's going to allow me to free up a lot more space, which is good news. Anyways, as I said, big cutout on the front there. On the side, we get the icons to indicate his specialties. We get the very, very dark blue digital render sort of tracking thing there, as well as a QR code. On the back, we get a digital render of the Night Creeper in a very menacing pose, and then a call out to a couple details. He's got the alternate head, of course, and then that throwing star hand. A bunch of legalese on the bottom. On the side, we get the Night Creeper's artwork. Looking pretty good. As I said, I just really dig the color scheme on this. It's not immediately, a combination of colors that you would necessarily go with, which is maybe what I like about it. It's a little bit unusual. The Night Creeper is number 121 for anybody that is keeping track. Man, it's hard to believe that we have more than 120 G.I. Joe classified figures. Anyway, let's get the Night Creeper out of the box. All right, so here's the Night Creeper out of the box, and he's every bit as good as I anticipated he would be. The paint apps are good. The deco is great. The sort of plum purple and maroon color with the silver is just fantastic. The details on this thing are really, really good. There's a few things that I am a little not disappointed with, but I do have a couple little, criticisms. And this has come up a couple times recently where, there's sculpted elements that sort of aren't done any justice by the paint. So, for example, there's sculpted elements in the shoulder pad, sort of shoulder pauldron thing there, but you don't really necessarily see them unless you're looking for them, because there's no paint app. So there's you could get a black wash over that or something just to pull some of that detail out over his back as well. And then the shin guards as well, I think there could be a little bit more paint on there. I mean, the shin guards look really, really good. I just wish they had a little bit more to them. The camo looks good. The overall aesthetic of the figure is quite good. No issues paint wise on mine either, so that's always nice. Just a really cool figure. I dig the design. I knew that I would, because I really like the design of the vintage figure, so it was pretty obvious that it was probably going to be a figure that I liked. Another thing that's, I don't know. It's a move in the right direction, but it's kind of a pain. The diaphragm cut is great. You get a good range of motion, forward, back, left, and right. The problem is he never seems to stand up straight. You can never really... I've been sort of battling with it for like 5 minutes to try to get... So that's his torso, effectively straight. But if I do that, I can't get him to stand straight. you know, like his from the hips to the ball joint at the waist to the diaphragm cut joint. It just never seems to want to stand up straight, and I'm sure I could heat it up and sort of manipulate it a little bit more, but to get him to look like he's standing up straight, his torso actually has to be a little bit crooked in order for sort of the whole figure to appear as though it's straight, which is kind of annoying. Now, if you're putting this guy in any sort of dynamic poses, it's not going to matter anyway. You're going to be able to hit those really good, nice dynamic poses. It's more for the sort of static pose of me, you know, just putting him in front of the camera like that and having him stand there. But you know, after today, he's going to get geared up. He's going to be sort of loaded up with stuff, and so I'm not going to care, but just something that I sort of noted while I was messing around with the figure and sort of seeing what he'll do pose wise. Yeah, it's just weird. I don't know sort of why there's sort of all these moving parts, and if they don't all sort of work really well together, if they're not all sort of the correct tightness, looseness, whatever you want to call it, I guess. You know, they just don't quite sit right, and sort of that's what's going on there. But as I said, that's more of a nitpick than anything, because it's still a really fantastic figure. And as expected, you know, the figure's great, but the accessories are some of the most fun we've had so far with the classified figures. So let's take a look at the accessories. Starting off, we've got an extra set of hands. So we have the sort of gripping ninja hand there that we've seen with going as far back as the 00 Hasbro Pulse exclusive Snake Eyes. And then we get the shuriken throwing star hand that I believe we saw with Snake Eyes as well. So there's you know, going all the way back to the line for those ones. We get the alternate head from, I believe that's from the Night Creeper version 2 or something. Feel free to correct me in the comments there. I don't remember ever having the figure that had this head. But it's a pretty nice one nonetheless. Again, it's cast in this burgundy color. The paint app on this thing is not very good. The visor is the paint on the visor is just kind of off. But I don't think I'm going to use that head anyway. I prefer that one, so I'm not really that worried. He comes with 2 daggers, these little hooked daggers, which I really dig. This is sort of a fun little, you know, Night Creeper ninja accessory. We get a backpack that has 4, 5 bolts, you know, for the crossbow mounted on there. There's also a little notch for another bolt to go on, as well as a couple pegs, which I assume the crossbow is going to fit onto. And then slots on either side, presumably again for the swords. No, I'm referencing a whole bunch of things that I haven't shown yet, but that's okay. There is a loose bolt here as well, or an arrow if you want to call it an arrow. There is the crossbow, and this is one of those accessories that I was talking about from the vintage figure that was just sort of like wild. This big giant crossbow with extra bolts attached on. You know, it's just huge. For the vintage figure, it was like even more ridiculously oversized for the figure, but I think it's represented pretty well there relative to the vintage one. And the swords, so he gets 2 swords. We get this one here, which is sort of a wavy blade with a bit of a curled handle. Always felt like the Night Creeper had sort of a Middle Eastern feel, something of like a, you know, I could see him being a villain in a futuristic version of like Aladdin or something like that. And then of course we get the really weird sword with all these little hooked bits on it. Also has a unique handle to it, which is pretty cool. So yeah, just really fun accessories. that really make this a really fun figure and a really good army builder. One more thing to note, the blades are both painted, and they're both painted in a different color, which is kind of interesting. I'm surprised they're not the same, but happy to say that there's a little cool sort of little detail there that might get overlooked just sort of looking at the pictures of it. Altogether, a fantastic looking figure with really, really cool accessories. I'm very excited to get this guy loaded up with his accessories and sort of see what fits and where and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to get this guy all kitted out and loaded up and give my final thoughts. All right, so as I'm getting this guy loaded up, I did want to note that on the backpack, you can store everything. So the crossbow mounts onto those pegs. The extra bolt mounts just in there. And then the two swords clip on with the little tabs on the side. So just very, very cool. Even if you're using the extra hands in this case, if you want to really load up the figure with sort of everything, everything that this figure comes with can effectively be stored on his person, which is really, really cool. And I always love when a figure can carry everything that he comes with. All right, so here's the Night Creeper all geared up. I chose to go with the swords. I think to me the swords are kind of like the most fun of the accessories, just because they're weird and wavy and hooked. And he feels a little more night creepy. If he's using his swords, right? Getting a silent strike with the swords. Get in, and strike and get out. Yeah, very, very strong ninja vibes with this guy, which is great. We've got Jinx in this wave as well, so definitely a good foil for Jinx. I'm very happy that I got a couple of these guys because it's a fun army builder, and I don't think he'd want to work alone. So, if you want to get a couple of these, hit up eCollectibles and get some for yourself. These are definitely an army builder that I would recommend. I think this is not going to appeal to everybody, but it is a very, very good figure. And so, yeah, as I said, strongly recommend this guy. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you don't want to miss future videos, hit the bell icon to get notifications. Till next time, bye-bye.